These Woodstock photos are not suitable for all ages. They're either too wild or reveal truths about the iconic festival that aren't immediately obvious. On August 15, 1969, over 400,000 people gathered at a farm in Bethel, New York, for the Woodstock Music and Art Fair, a festival that symbolized the spirit of the 1960s, but some wild images from the event tell a different story. Stay tuned as we uncover the untold stories behind these shocking photos and the festival that changed a generation. Origin of Woodstock. In this photo, an unidentified man stands with his hands firmly on his hips in the quiet fields of Yasgur's dairy farm in Bethel, New York. The foundation for the legendary Woodstock Music and Arts Fair is just beginning to take shape, and he watches as history prepares to be written. Despite the overwhelming crowd of more than 400,000 people, Woodstock is remembered for its surprisingly peaceful atmosphere. Attendees shared a rare sense of unity, with Max Yasgur, the farmer who generously offered his land for the festival, remarking, "If we join them, we can turn those adversities that are the problems of America today into a hope for a brighter and more peaceful future." Although the festival was named after Woodstock, it was actually held in Bethel, New York, on Max Yasgur's dairy farm. The name Woodstock came from Woodstock Ventures, the company behind the event. Despite Yasgur's generosity, his decision sparked controversy and he faced legal action from unhappy neighbors. Sadly, he passed away in 1973, just a few years after the festival. Free event. In this picture, the imposing fences surrounding Woodstock might have seemed like a prison to outsiders, but their true purpose was less about keeping people out and more about defining the festival's boundaries. Initially, organizers had anticipated a modest turnout of around 50,000 attendees, an estimate that proved wildly inaccurate. As the crowd swelled beyond their wildest expectations, the small rural community struggled to cope. With the situation spiraling, New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller even considered deploying the National Guard, while Sullivan County declared a state of emergency. However, controlling the massive influx of festival-goers proved nearly impossible. The lack of adequate security meant that people bypassed the fences, climbed on equipment, and freely moved about the farm. Faced with the overwhelming number of attendees, the organizers decided to make admission free. Thus, the crowds weren't breaking in. They were simply taking advantage of an open event. Traffic jam. While the stars of the 1969 Woodstock Music Festival arrived in style, whisked in by helicopter, the journey for concert-goers was anything but glamorous. Thousands of eager attendees braved the narrow rural roads leading to Yasgur's farm, only to find themselves trapped in an epic traffic jam. Event organizers had wildly underestimated the crowd size, turning the roads into a gridlocked mess. Some routes were completely shut down, forcing determined festival-goers to abandon their vehicles and trek the remaining distance on foot. With camping gear slung over their shoulders and the sun beating down relentlessly, many trudged for miles. Their sunburned faces told the story of their dedication and the lengths they were willing to go to for a piece of history. Choosing wrong beverages. Heading to a multi-day music festival on a remote farm in upstate New York, most people would think to pack essentials like non-perishable snacks and plenty of water. But not this woman. She was spotted wandering the Woodstock fairgrounds, clutching a carton of milk. A curious choice, considering dairy doesn't exactly thrive without refrigeration. Fresh milk under the summer sun? Bold move, to say the least. It's an odd beverage for such an event, but then again, Woodstock was full of surprises. Looking back, her quirky choice feels right at home amidst the free-spirited and unconventional vibe of the legendary festival. Impact on wildlife. The image not only captures the peaceful coexistence of festival-goers and farm animals, but also reflects the quirky and often challenging reality of hosting an iconic event in an unconventional location. The constant noise and activity of the festival proved to be too much for the local dairy cows. Reportedly, the commotion and the music traumatized the cows so much that they stopped producing milk for an entire month. The disruption caused by the festival's noise may have affected the farmers' milk production, leading to some financial challenges. They even sought compensation from the Woodstock organizers for the impact on his livelihood. And here's another picture showing farmers in the midst of the festival's chaos, attempting to milk the cows despite the surrounding commotion. The scene is both practical and poignant, illustrating the farmers' determination to maintain their daily routines amidst the unprecedented festival atmosphere. It serves as a reminder of the festival's broader impact, affecting not just the attendees, but also the local community and its daily operations. Rainy Festival. The Woodstock Festival faced its fair share of challenges, not least of which was the relentless rain that transformed the grounds into a sea of mud. Performers struggled through downpours, and the soggy conditions delayed several shows. Despite the mess, the attendees seemed undeterred, embracing the mud as part of the experience. In this photo, a man is running through the mud, turning the soggy chaos into a shared memory. Some attendees even came prepared with plastic ponchos, not exactly high fashion by Woodstock standards, but certainly a practical choice when the skies opened up. Sleeping anywhere. The Woodstock Festival took place on Max Yasgur's dairy farm, a location that, while picturesque, was never designed to host the staggering 400,000 attendees who showed up. This massive turnout led to traffic jams stretching for miles and far too little space for everyone to settle comfortably. Some fortunate attendees came prepared, improvising tents and makeshift shelters with sleeping bags. However, space on the farm was in such short supply that many like this man had no choice but to rely on their vehicles for rest. The chaos didn't end there. Finding their cars amidst the sea of vehicles became a challenge in itself. For some, the traffic was so severe they couldn't even reach their cars, adding yet another layer to the adventure that was Woodstock. Shortage of bathrooms. One of the major challenges at Woodstock was the severe shortage of toilets. With no one anticipating the overwhelming turnout, the festival organizers only provided 600 restrooms, far fewer than needed for a crowd of over 400,000. In fact, there was only one toilet for every 650 people, creating long lines and some inevitable discomfort. This image captures two individuals chatting outside one of the bathrooms, likely passing the time while waiting their turn. A tense moment. While the Woodstock Music Festival is often remembered as a symbol of peace, music, and the spirit of the 60s, it wasn't all fun and games. The overwhelming number of people, combined with rain and muddy conditions, turned the festival into a far less glamorous experience than many had imagined. In this photo, we see Pat McLean, a woman from nearby Massachusetts who appears to have a lot on her mind. Perhaps she's reflecting on the reality of the festival, wondering if she made the right choice to attend the legendary yet chaotic event. A mysterious man. This strange photograph, captured by Baron Woolman, is one of the most captivating from the Woodstock Festival. In the image, a solitary figure is seen walking through the chaos of the event, carrying a suitcase that remains shrouded in mystery. Woolman's caption reflects his own curiosity and bewilderment. "This is one of the strangest photos I took. He has a suitcase and he's walking along somewhere, I have no idea where. What he's got in the suitcase, just one of those mysterious things." Frustrated buyers. Despite the laid-back, hippie atmosphere at Woodstock, business was still booming. Vendors sold everything from food and clothing to all sorts of items. In the image, you can see people offering jeans, shirts, hats, and more, all for just $5. Food was sold at rock-bottom prices for much of the festival, but things took a turn when one food stand ran out of hamburgers and decided to raise the price from 25 cents to $1. This sudden price hike sparked outrage among festival-goers who saw it as a capitalist move that didn't fit with the spirit of the event. The frustration quickly turned to chaos, and in the end, people took matters into their own hands, setting the stand on fire as a form of protest. Nudity was common. Embodying the festival's spirit of freedom and love, nudity became a natural part of the Woodstock experience, with the nearby pond becoming a popular spot for skinny dipping. In these images, festival-goers can be seen taking a communal swim in the lake, fully embracing the event's message of openness and challenging traditional views on nudity and intimacy. Many photos from the festival capture this bold expression of freedom, featuring attendees in varying states of undress and sharing intimate moments. However, this portrayal also raised concerns about the festival's environment, which wasn't suitable for everyone. Recreational drug use. In the spirit of freedom, recreational drug use wasn't uncommon either, contributing to growing concerns about public safety. In this image, music fans can be seen seeking shelter in a grass hut, under a sign that reads, have a marijuana, a clear reflection of the carefree atmosphere that permeated the event. However, the festival wasn't without its darker moments. Tragically, one of the two reported deaths was due to a heroin overdose. This unfortunate incident, along with the widespread use of drugs, fueled concerns about the behavior of festival-goers and intensified societal anxieties about the rising youth counterculture and its impact on the broader social fabric. DIY shelters. Unlike many modern concerts, where seating and shelter are typically provided, the organizers of the 1969 Woodstock Music Festival were grossly unprepared for the overwhelming turnout and the unpredictable weather. With far more people than expected, many attendees arrived without basic supplies like tents and were forced to make do with sleeping bags or created makeshift shelters from their own clothing, propped up by sticks. In this image, we see a homemade tent that likely offered little protection from the torrential rains, which turned the festival grounds into a giant mud pit, or from the cold mountain air that set in as night fell. The improvisation may have helped, but it certainly didn't shield festival-goers from the hardships that came with Woodstock's infamous weather. Sleeping in a bag. In this picture, a man and a child are seen walking past festival-goers resting in sleeping bags. Tragically, there were two reported deaths at Woodstock, one from a heroin overdose and another involving a young attendee who was fatally injured in a tractor accident while sleeping in a bag. Difficult departure. Leaving Woodstock proved to be just as challenging as arriving. As the festival concluded, the highway out of Bethel was jam-packed with departing fans, adding to the chaos. The image captures the true scale of the festival's impact on the surrounding area and the logistical nightmare that ensued as thousands of people tried to make their way home. Piles of garbage. The aftermath of Woodstock left a significant environmental impact. Despite the festival's message of peace and harmony, the grounds were strewn with trash. According to a 1969 article in the Village Voice, piles of garbage up and down the hillside lingered for a month after the event. The extensive cleanup effort and the resulting mess led to local resistance, with Yasgur declining future festivals on his land and the town even enacting a law to prevent another one. In this picture, a woman is sweeping the street in front of her home, cleaning up the mess left by festival-goers as they leave. Bright side of the festival. While many pictures from Woodstock highlight the chaos, the mud, the overcrowding, and the sheer logistical struggles, there's another side to the story. Amid the challenges, other photos capture moments of connection, joy, and unity, offering a glimpse into the brighter, more inspiring side of the festival. Let's delve into these contrasting snapshots to uncover the full story of Woodstock. Popular puppets. While Woodstock is remembered today as a groundbreaking music festival showcasing iconic performances, it was originally envisioned as a multifaceted celebration of art, creativity, and community. Among the many attractions planned for the event was a charming puppet show specifically designed for children, a gentle, family-friendly respite from the more chaotic and decidedly adult activities happening across the grounds. Although the crowd lining up for this quirky attraction couldn't compete with the masses waiting to see musical legends like Janis Joplin, it served as a delightful diversion for families who brought their children to experience the festival. For the kids, it was a simple yet charming highlight of the event. However, with modern eyes, some might find those old-fashioned puppets just a little on the creepy side. Girl choosing healthy snacks. While Woodstock is often remembered for its abundance of illicit substances and reckless behavior, not everyone followed that path. Take this woman, for example, who began her journey to Max Yesker's farm with a refreshingly wholesome choice. As she patiently waited for the bus, she enjoyed a snack of fresh grapes, a simple and healthy treat. Given the well-known scarcity of food options at the festival, it's safe to say she made a wise decision. Her simple yet smart snack probably kept her energized and grateful during the whirlwind of the iconic event. It's a gentle reminder that even amidst the unpredictability of Woodstock, a little planning and good sense could go a long way. Showing kindness to animals. Though the wildlife surrounding the festival was undoubtedly affected by the overwhelming crowds, some Woodstock attendees made a conscious effort to spread messages of kindness and compassion, not only to fellow humans, but also to animals. While vegetarianism and the advocacy for animal rights weren't as widely recognized or practiced back then as they are today, this brave man took it upon himself to highlight a cause he was passionate about. His actions reflect the early seeds of movements that would grow in the years to come, with many believing that the counterculture and human rights movements of the 60s laid the groundwork for the rise of vegetarianism and other health-conscious movements. Backstage environment. While the atmosphere for Woodstock's attendees had become chaotic and muddy, backstage remained a much more organized and cleaner environment. Away from the soaked concert-goers and the endless lines for bathrooms, artist Richie Havens and other performers found a moment to unwind between sets. After playing an extended set lasting 2 hours and 45 minutes, far longer than the planned 40 minutes, it's no surprise that he needed some time to decompress. The image also showcases the staff's shirts, proudly featuring artist Arnold Skolnick's iconic bird and guitar design, a symbol that became synonymous with the festival's spirit. Simplicity. What stands out in this image is the absence of modern branding. No logo-emblazoned t-shirts or flashy sneakers are visible. Instead, the attendees are dressed in simple, comfortable footwear like flip-flops and sandals, reflecting the laid-back, carefree spirit of the event. This detail highlights the genuine, unpretentious nature of Woodstock, where the focus was on experience and community rather than fashion or status. The photograph beautifully encapsulates the festival's essence, a spontaneous, joyful gathering where personal expression trumped commercialism, reshaping American culture. This image portrays an expansive crowd of rock enthusiasts stretching out as far as the eye can see, creating a vast sea of people that seems to blend seamlessly into the horizon. Woodstock wasn't just a music festival, it was a cultural watershed that marked a turning point in how rock music and societal issues were perceived. The festival signaled a new era where music and youthful ideals were front and center, reshaping American culture. For 3 days, it wasn't just about the music. It was about a collective experience that defined a generation. The photo conveys not just the physical scale of the crowd, but also the collective energy and passion that characterized the event. It stands as a testament to the festival's significance, capturing the essence of a historic moment when hundreds of thousands of people came together to celebrate music, peace, and unity. Happy faces. Amidst the chaos, journalists initially reported Woodstock as a disaster, highlighting the logistical challenges and the festival's chaotic atmosphere. Yet, a new wave of reporters and editors saw something different. As they returned to their newsrooms, they struggled to capture the profound shift that had occurred, a weekend that had redefined the boundaries of music, culture, and community. This photo captures one of those moments, where the positive energy of the Woodstock Music and Art Fair is on full display. Hippies and their children are seen relaxing peacefully in the grass. Display of solidarity. In this image, we see attendees coming together to feed and care for their fellow concert-goers, offering a heartwarming glimpse of Woodstock's true spirit. Despite the overwhelming influx of people into a rural area ill-prepared for such a massive crowd, the festival became a beacon of unity and cooperation. People, regardless of their differences, united in a remarkable display of kindness and solidarity. They shared resources, offered food to one another, and made sure everyone was cared for, perfectly embodying the ethos of peace, love, and community. Welcoming strangers. This is another image revealing a scene of harmony and acceptance, contrasting sharply with the earlier apprehensions. At first, many residents were wary, fearing that the influx of festival-goers would bring chaos and disruption. They were concerned about the counterculture movement and the so-called hippie invasion, threatening their quiet rural town. However, as the festival unfolded, the reality was far different from their fears. The attendees, who were largely peaceful and respectful, soon won over the locals with their kindness and consideration. This photo, taken on the roadside leading to the festival grounds, reflects the warm reception the visitors eventually received. Anti-war festival. Woodstock took place during a turbulent time in U.S. history, when the country was deeply embroiled in the Vietnam War. Unsurprisingly, the festival, which was centered on music and peace, attracted many who were strongly opposed to the war. In the photo below, a man drives a Mustang adorned with anti-war messages, such as "war is not healthy," a reflection of the festival-goers' sentiments. Interestingly, though, the very U.S. Army that many were protesting against played a crucial role in keeping the festival afloat. The Army airlifted essential medical supplies, food, and even artists to ensure the event continued smoothly. The organizers, recognizing the irony, reassured the crowd, saying, "They are with us, man, they are not against us. 45 doctors or more are here without pay because they dig what this is into." Help by military. The image shows medevac helicopters typically associated with military operations arriving at the festival grounds to provide aid. In the midst of the festival, with its massive crowds and limited resources, it was a significant gesture of cooperation, considering the ongoing Vietnam War and the tensions between the counterculture movement and the military. A charming girl with her pet monkey. Given the festival's emphasis on harmony with nature, it's no surprise that many attendees brought their pets along. While dogs were a common sight at the event, this young lady took it a step further by bringing her pet monkey, adding a touch of the extraordinary to the already unique atmosphere of Woodstock. Introducing yoga to the West. This is Indian Hindu religious teacher Swami Satchidananda giving the opening speech at the Woodstock Music Festival. Swami Satchidananda's arrival in America in 1966 marked the beginning of a new chapter for yoga in the West. Before this, yoga was largely unknown, and health food stores were filled with vitamin supplements rather than holistic lifestyle choices. Swami Satchidananda changed that perception dramatically. His appearance at Woodstock helped introduce and popularize yoga, meditation, and a vegetarian lifestyle to a generation eager for new ways to enrich their lives. As he conducted the opening ceremony at Woodstock, Satchidananda Saraswati set the tone for the festival with a powerful blend of Eastern philosophies and spiritual teachings. His presence was a profound moment, inspiring the massive crowd to chant in unison and embrace his vision of peace and mindfulness. Through his teachings, he laid the groundwork for the growing yoga culture in America, influencing countless lives and contributing to a broader cultural shift. Michael Lang, the man behind the festival. While images of Woodstock's attendees are widely recognized, the men behind the scenes who made the festival a reality remain less known. One of the key figures in organizing the iconic event was Michael Lang. Lang, who initially gained experience by organizing festivals for legendary artists like Jimi Hendrix and Frank Zappa, teamed up with other music industry executives to bring the Woodstock Music and Art Fair to life in 1969. Reflecting on the event years later, Lang described Woodstock as a place that offered an environment for people to express their better selves, if you will. Another key figure who played a pivotal role in turning the dream of Woodstock into reality was Artie Kornfeld. A talented musician and songwriter, Kornfeld was instrumental in producing the iconic 1969 festival. Often referred to as the father of Woodstock, Kornfeld's deep passion for the counterculture movement fueled his dedication to making the festival a symbol of that transformative moment in history. Reflecting on the journey, Kornfeld remarked, "Never did I think that what started as an idealistic conversation among friends would become part of history." Since then, he has spent decades traveling across the country, sharing his insights on the social movements and counterculture that inspired Woodstock, cementing his legacy as one of the festival's driving forces. The enduring spirit of Woodstock. Despite the rain, the traffic jams, the mud, and the struggles for food and water, something remarkable emerged from the chaos of Woodstock. In the midst of all the confusion, a new sense of unity and freedom blossomed, captured forever in the powerful images from that weekend. At Woodstock, thousands of people embraced what society would often label as rebellious. Whether it was swimming, canoeing, or simply running around in minimal clothing, the festival gave attendees the rare opportunity to break free from societal norms. Many stayed up all night, enjoying the moment with no worries. Against all odds, despite the massive crowds and logistical challenges, Woodstock unfolded with surprising smoothness. There were very few reports of crime and far fewer fatalities than anyone had feared. The festival's message of love and peace, embraced by nearly 500,000 people, succeeded in bringing together individuals from all walks of life, creating a community bound by shared ideals. In the absence of adequate facilities, festival-goers at Woodstock demonstrated remarkable creativity. Makeshift shelters and food stalls sprang up as attendees embraced the discomforts of the event, finding joy in their shared sense of independence and freedom. Initially, many newspapers across the U.S. depicted Woodstock as a disaster zone, far from the peaceful, idealistic gathering that was envisioned. Yet as time went on, it became clear that beneath the wild scenes and challenging circumstances, something much deeper was at play. From the serene moments of peace and camaraderie to the chaotic scenes of crowds and logistical hurdles, each photograph tells a story of its own. Despite the rain, the mud, and the unexpected challenges, Woodstock ultimately became a symbol of unity and the countercultural spirit that defined an entire generation. The extensive media coverage helped Woodstock's influence extend far beyond its immediate location. It captured the spirit of a burgeoning social and cultural revolution, particularly resonant with the youth demographic, 36% of whom were under 18 in 1960, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. In the wake of the festival, Artie Kornfeld, one of the organizers, saw an opportunity to document this cultural milestone. He secured a deal with Warner Brothers Studios to film the entire event. Fresh out of NYU Film School, Martin Scorsese was brought on board as one of the editors. Over the course of 3 days, they captured 120 miles of footage, which Scorsese and his team edited into a compelling 3-hour film. The documentary not only won an Academy Award, but also generated substantial profits. However, Scorsese and his team saw little financial benefit from their groundbreaking work. The festival's impact on music history and popular culture continues to resonate today, reflecting the hopes, dreams, and ideals of those who lived it. What we now recognize is the unique blend of chaos and harmony that made Woodstock unforgettable. It wasn't just the music, it was the connection, the collective spirit of freedom, peace, and love that lived on, long after the last notes had played. What made Woodstock so iconic? Woodstock wasn't just another music festival. It was a cultural moment that defined an entire generation. Billed as 3 days of peace and music, Woodstock brought together 32 of the most iconic artists in American music, including Jimi Hendrix, the Grateful Dead, and Janis Joplin. But more than the star-studded lineup, it embodied the free-spirited essence of the 1960s, capturing the ideals of peace, love, and rebellion against the establishment. Woodstock's stage hosted an unforgettable lineup of legends, yet some of the biggest bands of the era missed out on what would become the defining music festival of all time. Several top-tier groups turned down invitations, unaware of the cultural moment they were passing up. The Byrds, for instance, declined to play, with bassist John York admitting they were weary of the festival circuit. By that time, we had no idea what it was going to be. We wanted a break, he said, missing out on what would later be remembered as the greatest music festival ever. The Doors also turned down the chance, dismissing Woodstock as a second-class repeat of Monterey pop. Guitarist Robbie Krieger later reflected, admitting it was one of his biggest regrets in his musical career. What moments from Woodstock resonate most with you, and how do you think they shaped the legacy of this legendary festival? Make sure to subscribe and share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. See you in the next video. Until then, stay tuned.